Hey, Roger from Media Award. This is a video response message to Robyn176 competition to give him a really fantastic prize, which is the Minority Report's Blu-ray Steelbook. A really fantastic film and a really good-looking Steelbook, I have to admit. I've been a fan of your channel ever since I started my my channel, in fairness, all the way back when I had like about 2 subscribers, kind of thing. You know, all the start back of this year. So I'm more than happy to enter your commentation and support your channel, and I might win something. All fun and games, eh? Just ask 2 very simple questions, superhero related. One of your favourite superhero movies, and your least favourite superhero movie, in a sense. I'm not going to pick the obvious ones, or the Batman, or the Avengers or whatnot. I think that's just too easy, to pick. I'll pick something a bit underrated, something that's not been talked about, something that I really enjoy and I love every time I watch it. And for my least favourite, I'll talk about some things, a film that I purely hate, I really don't like, and some of my friends will probably definitely know what I'm on about. So let's get on with this video. My favourite superhero movies, one of my favourite superheroes is Watchmen. Really fantastic movie, this. I remember watching this all the way back in the cinema. This is my very first 18 certificate movie at the cinemas. At the time I was 16, so I was very happy at the time. Yeah, I loved the trailers when I first watched them. I was really intrigued. It was based upon a graphic novel. It looked really interesting. I loved the soundtrack of the trailer. This movie really blew me away in terms of visuals, acting, grittiness, convention breaking of the superhero genre. Fantastic. I really loved it, and I still do. I mean, it's amazing. I'm particularly a fan of the director's cut more than the theatrical version. I only watched the director's cut. Obviously, in the previous video, this is a 3D set, so the director's cut down the bottom there. I only recommend that version because it just adds more to the movie, half an hour extra footage, backstories and stuff, and extra characters and stuff. That's all cool stuff. I love the superheroes. I love the actual characters. The idea of the Watchmen, the kind of a team, kind of organization. It's kind of like what happened if the Avengers in a couple of years' time, in a sense, because this is a group of amazing people with abilities. Some people just have skills, combat and fighting skills and all that stuff. And imagine if they just lived in this kind of world, where there's kind of outcast, outlawed, and there is actually a comic book story in the Marvel universe, I think, called the Marvel Civic War or something. I think it's where the some kind of a government act or something happens where all superheroes have to reveal their identities and to reveal their order, and of course they get split into 2 groups and a bit of a war goes on, a bit of an internal war. And this movie kind of has a similar idea. It's a bit of an alternative world of the 70s and 80s. What happens to these characters are there, kind of thing. What happens to some certain prime minister, well, not prime minister, presidents were still going in terms of run and stuff. It's an alternative world. What could have happened? And it's a really interesting, intriguing storyline. I really love this film and what it has to offer into the superhero genre. It's not your typical kind of Superman save the day, American, red, white, and blue kind of thing. It's very gritty. It's very dark. There's murder. There's sex. There's violence. There's drugs. But it's not focused upon that. It's just showing that the world is not all fun and games. You can't just have an easy superhero kind of worship kind of thing. Cheesy liners. These superheroes, these people are going to get hurt. They're going to get killed or whatnot. Some have become vigilantes, some are just retired, some are just trying to make the world a better place. And it's very interesting. I like what this movie offers, and it stays true to the graphic novel. At least the director's cut does. At least that's the best version you can get in terms of visual stuff. So that's one of my favourite superhero movies. I would instantly recommend to everybody to go and watch it. The director's cut only. Even though this is the DVD, I would love to get the Blu-ray. Really fantastic, but that's something for another time. So yeah, Watchmen is one of my favourite superhero movies. Go and check it out if you haven't already. Now, for my least favourite superhero movie, I noticed in a lot of previous entries to your competition that everyone's been picking, X-Men Origins, Wolverine as kind of their least favourite superhero movie. Now, for me, I don't understand why everyone is giving that movie such a hard time, myself. I mean, I know it's not the best, movie ever. I mean, it could have been better in a sense. But to be honest, but bloody hell, I mean, it's a fun entertainment movie. Hugh Jackson's great as Wolverine. You got Sabretooth, you got a lot of great characters. I love the backstory. I like how it links into the X-Men universe, the characters and stuff. So I think too many people are giving that movie a hard time, and it's surprising that people are just saying it's one of the worst movies ever made, kind of thing, and just one of their least favorites. It's quite surprising. There's a lot other movies out there that is least favorite, but everyone has a different opinion, I suppose, at the end of the day, and I just wanted to say that. I just wanted to get my opinion off of my chest about that. But there is worse superhero movies out there. One of them, which I'm going to name now, which I do not like, I really don't like, and a lot of people don't talk about this movie, rightfully so, they shouldn't. It is called The Punisher Warzone.
It's so pathetic in a million ways. What a desperate disgrace. Strung out, so proud, big mouth.
This movie sucks, and I really mean that. Okay. I like the first Punisher movie. Tom Jane, it had John Travolta. You know, I like the cast, I like the ideas, but I like the action. And it didn't focus too much on the actual comic. It just focused on the character. It focused on it was more of a revenge movie. You know, it was a straightforward, nice, easy action flick that you can get into nice and easy. I like Tom Jane's performance as the Punisher character. I thought I'd say true to the comics. You know, I've been reading the comics, and you know, even though it didn't focus massively on the comics, it's still stay true. Now, what this movie does, The Punisher Warzone, something that when I first saw the trailer, I was actually looking forward to. It's more of a reboot, it's more of a retelling of the story. You know, but you can still watch it with the first one, kind of like Hulk and the Incredible Hulk in a sense. But yeah, this movie just was bad. I mean, for like an action superhero movie, there was no redeeming quality about it. There's nothing likable about it, apart from a couple of action scenes. I suppose from a couple of, you know, mediocre deaths in a sense. That's about it. Ray Stevens' performance as Punisher was emotionless. It was just dull. It was not the same kind of character than on the first one. It was a bit different approach to it, which is good in some movies, but it's just boring. His character, I didn't connect with him. I didn't care. You know, there's a couple of flashbacks in the movie which just shows him with his daughters, you know, his wife getting killed, kind of retelling about the story. And to be honest, I didn't care. I really didn't. And I hate that to say that within a movie. You know, with the first one, you got to see these characters interact with each other, you know, and you see the whole idea and the whole incident. I mean, kind of got that. We didn't need a retelling of that story again. But this one, it was just quick flashbacks. Didn't care. It was dull. It was just dull. The villain called Jigsaw, you know, his villain was just annoying more than anything. Yeah, before he got his face messed up, you know, he was just a cocky kind of baddie. Yes, I'm a baddie. You know, I can do what I say. I can swear millions of times, kind of thing. You know. Then once he got to the kind of meat grinder, you know, call me Jigsaw. It's like, what? Seriously? Then he breaks out his mentally disturbed brother that likes ripping out organs, you know, to get part of his team against the Punisher. What? No. I'm sorry, but this movie is just awful. I don't like it. The plot is just dull. You know, it's just, I don't like to talk about this movie. It's just bad. I hate the ending of this movie also. I don't like the one-liners. I don't like the character in this, how he's portrayed. He was trying to give it off as some sort of like I suppose a Sin City touch upon it without going that kind of black and white style. But of course, Sin City is miles better. But yeah, bad movie. You know, a lot of people don't talk about this movie. A lot of people don't show it in their collection. Thank God, for God's sake. It's one of the movies that I was looking forward to, and I was very disappointed. I'm going to stick with the first movie. You know, I enjoyed that. I like what it offers. You know, this goes into one of my piles of superhero movies which I'd not touch. You know, it goes with the Hulk. Also, I don't like that movie either. But yeah. Stay clear from this movie for my subscribers, and if you've seen this movie, just, you know, yeah. So that's my opinion, and that's my competition entry into your competition. I hope you like the answers. I hope the video wasn't too long for you. And for most subscribers, going to be linked in the description below. As always, go and check out this channel and go check out the competition. You know, there's still plenty of time. Just until like the 6th of September, I think it is. So plenty of time to do it. So in the meantime, it's Andrew from TV. Signing out.